So we just finished the season of Lent, and during that time, we're called to reflect, pray, and sacrifice something that we know does not serve us. We're also reminded of how Jesus modeled for us how to avoid giving into temptation during the 40 days he spent fasting in the desert. I've been recently studying Luke 4, where it says, Jesus, full of the Holy Spirit, left the Jordan and was led by the Spirit into the wilderness, where for 40 days he was tempted by the devil. He ate nothing during those days, and at the end he was hungry. The devil said to him, "If you are the Son of God, tell this stone to become bread." Jesus answered, "It is written, man shall not live on bread alone." The devil led him up to a high place and showed him in an instant all the kingdoms of the world. When I think about that story, it's easy for me to remember the part about temptation and how Jesus overcame it. But the part that I seem to forget is that the Holy Spirit led Jesus there in the first place. God had a purpose for Jesus to be in that situation so that he could be an example to us. It's easy to think of being in the wilderness as a bad thing because it can be painful and hard at times, but the enemy offered to Jesus all gain and no pain or suffering. He tries to convince us that we can get great things through shortcuts and instant gratification. Jesus taught us through this story that no eternal gain comes without sacrifice and some pain. We must lose our life in order to find it. When we put God at the center of our lives, that is where we get true gains. There is a kingdom promised to us far greater than any suffering. I think the Holy Spirit leads us through seasons of being in the wilderness too. I can think of many seasons of suffering in my life that were painful, and part of me wishes I didn't have to go through that. But the other part is extremely grateful because I know that I was in that season for a reason. I know that even if I may have felt alone, I was never truly alone. God always gave me exactly what I needed to endure those seasons. Sometimes it would simply be a person's comforting words. Going through those seasons made me so much more grateful for everything that I have now and gave me the skills and knowledge that I needed for where I'm at right now. I hope that you will reflect on Jesus' example in the desert and recognize that the wilderness is not always a bad thing. Sometimes we are called to be in the wilderness in order for God to mold us into the people we need to be and to teach us what we need to know for the next chapter of our lives. Keep God at the center of your heart and know that He will always allow a way to endure temptation. The eternal gain of being achieved is far more beautiful than the short-term happiness that temptation brings.